Okay, great. So once you've done all your framing and redistributed the walls and the beams and your posts in the house, like we've done here, we've added this. This is going to be our new walk-in for the ensuite for our master bedroom. We've cut out an opening here. We've added a new. We framed in a new bathroom for the bedroom. We've added a Jack and Jill that we talked about. We've reconfigured the ensuite, and we've taken out a couple of walls in the master. Here, let's take a look around here. We've added this upstairs laundry room. We've closed the opening. We've closed this and added an opening on the for a Jack and Jill bathroom over here. Okay, in the master, we've eliminated the closets that were here and we've opened it up. We've reconfigured the bathroom. This is the wall in the other bedroom that we've added, so we're going to rearrange the bathroom. As you can see, we've put an opening here through the master bedroom ensuite for the walk-in closet. So now that all our framing is done, now you can start getting your rough-ins established. So what you want to do is you want to first get your heating contractor in, then your plumber, then your electrical, then your surround sound or your surround sound and any other little details like alarm or vac that you need to put in. Now when you're doing a reno, depending how substantial it is, it's very important to maintain your heating and air conditioning components and make sure that they're still, you have your cold air returns that are still coming back and your heat runs that are still going into the rooms or any additional ones that you need to add. So your heating contractor really needs to be focused and really needs to understand that he's able to do all that before you proceed any further. And one thing to keep in mind, the more walls that are exposed, basically ceilings that are taken apart, walls that are taken apart, it's easier for you and all the contractors involved that are going to be doing a reno. That way they can basically almost start from scratch, basically from new in a lot of the cases, and it's easier for them to follow the line. So in our case, we've got lucky in most of the components of that. Basically, our heat contractors established where he can eliminate the ones and tie in the ones that we can use, and our plumber's done also the same thing. Basically, we're almost going back to the basement, cutting what we need to cut and start new from there and bringing it up to the house. We haven't met the electrical contractor. Well, we did meet him briefly, and we've got to establish what lines we need to run new lines in and which ones we can tie into. Now, since the house is not a super old house, all the plumbing was all up to snuff. Basically what I mean by it was all still plastic. All the lines are still copper, all the wires are still copper, and all the heat runs were still your normal galvanized sizing and all the components of that. So that's great. So that's one thing that you really got to take care of. So let's go downstairs and see what we're going to do there. All right, great. So now at this stage here, once we've exposed all the walls, taken out all our heat runs, taken all our plumbing, taken out the electrical that we know we don't need because we're going to be changing things in certain areas. And remember, take out as much drywall as necessary. Don't skimp on taking that out because it's just going to end up costing you the same. So keep that in mind when you're doing a reno. Now, before you get your contractors in here, unless you know specifically if you're not changing too many things in terms of the kitchen and the bathrooms, because you're going to have to do all the rough-ins. And when you do the rough-ins, I'm talking about you need to get your heating contractor here to do the ductwork back to the furnace, or if you have to run a brand new furnace and duct lines, you need to get your plumbing contractor next to do the rough-in for all your plumbing fixtures, your tubs, your toilets, your kitchen sinks. And also your electrical contractor after that to run all the electrical lines that you need for all the brand new placement of your appliances, your cabinets, and your fixtures. So at this stage here, or a good idea is right at the very beginning, you need to get your kitchen company here and design a layout with you. And then once you've designed a layout, you need to get a preliminary sketch to show you where all the cupboards, where all the appliances are going. So keep that in mind. Now we've got our kitchen layout. It looks great. As I say, we're going to be here. Come on over. Swing around this way, Mike. Okay. We're going to be opening up and putting a triple door here. So we're going to be putting another header up in the ceiling here to support the new floor. And then we're going to have a lower cabinet, our cooktop. Cooktop is going here, so when you're putting a cooktop in, always remember you're going to have to vent it. So make sure that where you place your cooktop, you're going to have a spot to vent it outside or somewhere through the floor joist to outside. So keep that in mind because that's important. A lot of people seem to forget that. And then we're going to have another cabinet, our built-in ovens. We're going to go with a double oven, pantry, fridges over here, sink, dishwasher, and we're doing a huge island. So we just got our layout, so we're just spray painting on the floor, basically an idea for all the trades where all their lines and all the plumbing lines, electrical lines are going to have to go. So that's something you have to keep in mind and make sure that gets done. So now that we're at this stage here, we're getting our heating contractor here to run the lines, then our plumber to do the rough-in, then our electrical contractor, and we're replacing a lot of the windows and we're opening up windows. So that's another thing you're going to have to order well in advance because that takes a while to get here. Okay, so when you're doing a reno and it's fairly extensive, when you're moving things around like we're doing here, like I mentioned, it's a good idea to, if you're in the basement, to eliminate all the ceiling board. If it's drywall or drop ceiling or whatever, if it's a drop ceiling, it's exposed, so it's easier. But if it's drywall, it's easier for everybody and yourself. You're going to have to more than likely eliminate all the drywall off the ceiling, and that way you're exposing yourself to all the lines that you need to tie into. Your heating contractor, your plumbing contractor, your electrical contractor. Like for instance, we've decided with our plumbing contractor, most of the mains run, and then all of a sudden they start splitting at this point here. I'm going to take a shot of this up in here. So basically it's easier for the plumber basically to cut the lines here and eliminate everything from here on and then start from new here. So that's what I was mentioning. It's easier for a lot of the contractors to start from new once they're down in the basement. In our case, the plumbing, we're going to do that for most of the plumbing. And for the heating contractor, it's pretty good because we could just have to add some lines and eliminate lines to the existing heat runs and returns that are in the basement. And the electrical, as you can see here, the electrical, he can start a lot of the things from the panel, which you do want, because as you can see here, like just show, there's junction boxes here that you either need to expose or eliminate. So in our case, we'll get the electrician to go ahead and eliminate it. Okay, so keep all that in mind. Now we're going to go ahead and on the new addition that we're putting on, you're going to have to eliminate, and we're creating an opening from the existing basement here to the new one. So we're going to drill a couple pilots in the wall, and then we're going to cut the wall out, and then we're going to expose or have an opening into the addition here. Now, before you do that, make sure when you cut the wall out that on top of the wall that there's no point loads coming down on the wall that you're eliminating. So in our case, we've checked, and there's a couple of actually point loads. What I mean by a point load is the beam is sitting on a post, and the post coming down, and the post, when it gets to the basement, has to sit on a wall or another post that's on a footing down in the basement. So in our case, we've checked, and this is fine. So let's keep that in mind, that you don't cut a wall out, and upstairs there's a load coming down on that opening, so you're gonna have a problem then. Okay, so let's go ahead and drill a pilot, and we'll cut the wall out. Great. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and drill a pilot hole. So we're gonna expose it for the other side, and we know the basement, we've measured, and we know the basement opening to the other addition is basically from here to over here. So this is where we're cutting our hole, but we're gonna drill a pilot hole, and then that's what's gonna establish a line to where they cut the concrete out. So let's go ahead and drill a hole.